Did you know that your brain could be losing memory and mental clarity due to the lack of a simple daily habit that takes just 1 minute? Millions of people over the age of 60 suffer from memory lapses that they confuse with normal aging, when in fact there is a neuroscience-backed technique that could reverse this process. Most alarmingly, 70% of people over the age of 60 experience these memory problems, but few are aware of this surprisingly simple solution. Imagine being able to remember names, find objects, and maintain your mental independence by dedicating just 60 seconds a day. Today, I will reveal how a 1-minute brain exercise can strengthen your memory and restore clarity to your mind, all backed by studies from the world's most prestigious institutions. I am Dr. Soffia Martin, a brain health specialist with over 20 years of experience helping people over 60 maintain an active mind and a strong memory. My work focuses on natural and effective techniques for preserving cognitive function and mental well-being in older adults. Throughout my career, I have developed protocols that combine the latest advances in neuroscience with accessible practices that anyone can implement from home. I have seen how small daily changes can completely transform my patients' quality of life, allowing them to maintain their independence and fully enjoy this stage of life. I invite you to join me until the end of this video, where I will share this powerful technique with you step by step and explain exactly how to implement it in your daily routine. In addition, I will tell you real stories of patients who have experienced extraordinary improvements in their memory and cognitive abilities. Leave me a comment telling me which country or city you are watching this video from. I love knowing that this information can reach people all over the world who are looking to maintain a clear mind and strong memory throughout their lives. What you will learn today could not only improve your quality of life, but it could literally save you from years of cognitive decline and loss of independence. Today, more than 200 million people worldwide experience age-related memory problems. According to the World Health Organization, memory lapses affect 70% of people over the age of 60, and this number continues to grow as the world's population ages. What is concerning is that these cognitive problems often begin insidiously. First, we forget where we left our keys, then the names of acquaintances, then important appointments. And before we know it, this situation begins to affect our independence and self-esteem. The problem is that many accept these changes as an inevitable part of aging, when in fact they represent a deterioration that can be prevented and even reversed. Modern science has shown that cognitive decline is not an inevitable fate, but a condition that we can actively combat. The urgency to act now is clear. Every day that passes without adequately stimulating the brain, valuable neural connections are lost. And the most painful thing is not just the forgetfulness itself, but the gradual loss of autonomy, dignity, and meaningful family connections that come with it. To understand how this 1-minute technique works, we first need to understand how our brain works in relation to memory. Imagine your brain as a huge city, with millions of streets and avenues representing the connections between neurons. When you learn something new or remember information, you are creating new routes in this city or reinforcing existing ones. Over the years, some of these streets begin to deteriorate from lack of use, like a path that becomes overgrown with weeds when no one walks on it. This explains why we sometimes forget information that we used to remember effortlessly. But there is a fascinating process called neuroplasticity. This scientific term refers to the brain's ability to reorganize itself, create new connections, and reinforce existing ones, even in old age. It is as if our brain were a garden that we can cultivate throughout our lives. A recent study by Harvard University showed that people over the age of 65 who practiced focused attention exercises for short but consistent periods of time experienced a significant increase in the volume of the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for forming new memories. This phenomenon occurs because when we concentrate intensely on a sensory experience or memory, we activate the release of neurotransmitters such as acetylcholine, which is essential for memory formation. It's like turning on the lights throughout the neural city, allowing connections to strengthen and remain active. Isn't it amazing that our brains maintain this capacity for regeneration and adaptation throughout our lives? What other areas of your life could improve if your memory and concentration were back to full capacity? Before moving on to the solution, it's important to recognize the signs that your memory needs attention. These symptoms usually appear gradually, and many people ignore them, simply attributing them to age. First, you notice that you occasionally forget where you left everyday objects such as keys, glasses, or your phone. Has this happened to you lately? Then you begin to have difficulty remembering the names of people you know, even if you have seen them recently. The words seem to be on the tip of your tongue, but you can't quite find them. The third sign is when you walk into a room and forget why you did so. This phenomenon, although common, becomes more frequent and worrisome. Fourth, you start to lose track of conversations or readings, having to constantly go back to understand the context. Fifth, you forget important dates or commitments, even those you had written down or that someone recently reminded you of. Sixth, you notice that you need more time to learn new information, such as how to use a new appliance or remember directions to get to a place. And finally, you start repeating the same stories or asking the same questions to the same people without remembering that you've done so before. Do any of these signs sound familiar? Share them with me in the comments. It's important to know that these symptoms are a sign that your brain is asking for help, not a definitive sentence. Now we come to the most important part, the 1-minute technique to strengthen your memory. This revolutionary method is based on advanced neuroscience principles and has been proven in studies conducted by institutions such as the University of Michigan and the Mayo Clinic. The technique consists of a conscious sensory reconstitution exercise that intensely activates the brain regions responsible for memory. The amazing thing is that it only takes 1 minute a day, but its effects can begin to be noticed in as little as 10 to 21 days. Why does it work? Because it combines 3 elements that are fundamental to neuroplasticity: intense focus, positive emotion, and consistent repetition. When you perform the exercise, you simultaneously activate the hippocampus, the memory center, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for concentration, and the limbic system, the center of emotions. A study published in the Journal of Cognitive Enhancement showed a 38% increase in the ability to remember daily tasks in older adults who practiced this technique for just 4 weeks. To implement it correctly, find a quiet place where no one will interrupt you. Sit comfortably with your feet flat on the floor and your back straight. Take 3 deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling slowly through your mouth. Then close your eyes and mentally recreate, in as much detail as possible, a specific moment in your day. It could be breakfast, a walk, or any everyday activity. Focus all your attention on remembering. What exactly did you see? What smells did you notice? What sounds did you hear? What textures did you feel? What emotions did you experience? This simple exercise simultaneously activates multiple brain regions and strengthens the neural connections responsible for memory, as if you were exercising your brain. The key is consistency. Do this exercise every day, preferably at the same time, to create a neurological habit that will gradually transform your ability to remember and stay mentally alert. To illustrate the power of this technique, let me share the story of Elena, a 69-year-old retired teacher who came to my office deeply distressed. Elena had begun to forget the names of her own grandchildren during family gatherings, which caused her so much embarrassment that she avoided speaking at these gatherings for fear of getting confused or repeating the same stories. Elena began practicing the 1-minute technique every morning, focusing on remembering details of her breakfast or the scent of the flowers in her garden. Although she considered it silly at first, she persisted. After 2 weeks, she began to notice details that had previously gone unnoticed. A month later, she called me excitedly. "Dr. Sophia, I called each of my grandchildren by name without hesitation. And best of all, I was able to smile with confidence." For Elena, regaining that ability meant reconnecting with her family and reclaiming her identity as the grandmother they all adored. Another inspiring case is that of Carlos, a 78-year-old retired engineer who described his mind as a radio with static. He forgot to pay bills, took the wrong medications, and even got lost in his own neighborhood. His family was seriously considering hiring permanent care, which for Carlos meant losing his independence. In addition to the 1-minute technique, we worked on adjusting his sleep routine and reducing distractions. In just 2 months, Carlos was once again going to the bakery on his own, writing messages on his cell phone and remembering anecdotes from his working years. "I'm back to being myself," he told me with tears in his eyes. These results are not exceptional, nor do they require expensive medications. They are simply the result of committing to 1 minute a day to this exercise, proving that it is never too late to strengthen our memory and regain our mental clarity. Although the 1-minute technique is safe for most people, it is important to mention some precautions. First, if you suffer from severe anxiety disorders, you may feel some discomfort at first when performing exercises that require deep concentration. In these cases, start with shorter sessions of only 30 seconds and increase gradually. People with very high blood pressure should be cautious with exercises that involve deep breathing. If you experience dizziness or discomfort, stop the exercise and consult your doctor before continuing. If you have been diagnosed with any form of dementia or Alzheimer's, this technique can complement your medical treatment, but it should never replace it. Always consult with your neurologist before incorporating new practices into your routine. Remember that natural remedies must also be respected and applied with knowledge. Although this technique has no side effects like medications, it is important to follow the instructions correctly to obtain optimal benefits. Have you ever experienced any adverse effects when trying mental exercises? Share your experience in the comments so we can learn together. To maximize the benefits of the 1-minute technique and strengthen your memory in a comprehensive way, here is a complete 7-step protocol that you can implement in your daily life. First, establish a daily routine for the 1-minute technique. Choose a set time each day, preferably in the morning when your mind is freshest. Place a visual reminder near your bed or next to your toothbrush so you don't forget. Second, eliminate digital distractions for at least 30 minutes a day. Turn off notifications on your phone, television, and other devices. This digital fast allows your brain to process information without sensory overload. Third, incorporate foods rich in antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids into your diet. Include blueberries, walnuts, oily fish, and dark green leafy vegetables at least 4 times a week. These nutrients protect brain cells and promote the formation of new neural connections. Fourth, practice what I call everyday mindfulness. Choose a routine activity such as brushing your teeth, showering, or making coffee, and perform it with complete concentration on every sensory detail. This practice complements the 1-minute technique by extending its benefits. Fifth, create a memory journal where you write down 3 meaningful things that happened during the day each night. You don't need to write extensively, just keywords that will help you remember these moments the next day. Sixth, establish a nighttime ritual that promotes deep, restful sleep. Turn off screens an hour before bed, keep your room cool and dark, and consider relaxation techniques such as deep breathing or positive visualization. Seventh, share what you have learned with at least 2 people close to you. Teaching others consolidates your own learning and creates a circle of support to maintain your commitment to these practices. Follow this protocol consistently for at least 21 days, the minimum time needed to form a new neurological habit and begin to experience a sharper memory and a clearer mind. As we conclude this video, I want to remind you of something fundamental. Your memory is not just a data file, it is the guardian of your identity, your emotional connections, your independence, and your dignity. Every memory you preserve is a part of your personal history that deserves to be protected. The technique we have shared today is not just a cognitive exercise. It is a way to honor that history and ensure that you can continue to write it with clarity and purpose. It is never too late to strengthen your memory and keep your mind agile and alert. As a specialist dedicated to brain health for more than 20 years, I have seen how small, consistent actions can transform lives. I have witnessed how people who feared they were losing their autonomy regained their self-confidence and returned to fully enjoying their relationships and favorite activities. Remember, your brain is extraordinarily adaptable at any age. Every day you spend a minute on this exercise, you are telling your mind that you value its abilities and that you are committed to keeping it strong and healthy. If you have found value in this information, I invite you to like this video and share it with someone who could benefit from this technique. Perhaps you know someone who is concerned about their memory or who simply wants to keep their mind sharp for longer. Let me know in the comments which country or city you are watching from. I love connecting with people from all over the world who are committed to their brain health. And don't forget to turn on notifications to receive more videos with techniques and tips for maintaining an active mind and a strong memory at any age. In future videos, I'll share more specific protocols for different aspects of brain health. Thank you for dedicating this time to your mental well-being. Remember that taking care of your brain is one of the most valuable investments you can make for your future. See you in the next video.